Hello, guys, and welcome to another episode of Bloodshots, the podcast about movies and TV shows. Joining me to my right is Wes Baumgardner.
Hello.
To my left, Aaron Schmidt.
Maybe it's time to let the old ways die.
If you guys like what you see, head on over to all the social media sites like Twitter and YouTube. You can like and subscribe. You can help support the show on patreon.com/derailed. And you can find us on iTunes and SoundCloud for the audio. News.
Helen Hunt and what's his name? Paul Reiser.
Mm-hmm. Reiser.
Mm-hmm. They're apparently going to do a Mad About You reunion.
Whoopee.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to tell me you're going to
I
do
love that
a
show.
sequel to Twister.
I love that show.
If you care or
Paul
not.
Reiser wasn't in Twister.
I know, but
just Helen Hunt,
somebody has
dude.
to replace.
Paul Reiser's in Curb, though.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Huh.
If you care, there's a lot of news about Mary Poppins 2.
Yeah, it's a sequel. Cool.
I'm just trying to find
The trailer's been out forever.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much news. I think the biggest thing in the news right now is the Captain Marvel. I keep wanting to say Captain America.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. There is the set photos of Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker.
Thank you.
But this is Joker before he becomes Joker.
Which they named him. They named him
I have it here.
Abraham?
Arthur.
Arthur.
Really? Aquaman
Which
Arthur?
has never been in any comic before.
What,
He
the
has
Joker
one
having a
name. No, he has a name in the comics, but it's like something else. No one has ever called him Arthur.
What was his name in the Michael Keaton Batman when he was Jack?
That's the closest they've come, and it was
Okay.
Jack something.
Oh,
Napier,
gotcha.
Napper.
Yeah, and it was like a fill-in name or whatever.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But he looks like Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh, wow.
Because he's supposed to
Interesting.
be a comedian, down on his luck, trying to support his wife and kid, and his wife leaves him and whatnot. So I don't know. It could work.
So they have they've announced a decent chunk of the cast, too.
Oh, really?
Zazie Beetz, Deadpool 2, Domino.
Okay.
Bill Camp from Molly's Game.
Never seen it.
Francis,
Oh, you should. Oh,
Francis-
yeah, Netflix.
Really?
Francis Conroy from Castle Rock.
Oh, really?
Brett Cullen from Narcos.
Haven't seen Narcos.
Glenn Flesher from Barry.
Wait, who's...
Glenn Fleischer.
Flesher.
Is that the handler? No.
I'll
No,
let
that's
him
the
look-
guy from
I'll let him look that up.
Office Space. Glenn
Oh,
Fleischer.
he's the big, he's the weird guy's, the bald guy's boss.
Oh, really? Yuri, or whatever the hell's name
Douglas Hodge from Red Sparrow. Mark Marin from Glow.
Mark Maron, the comedian. Let me see him.
I don't have a picture, I just have a name.
Oh.
Josh Pius, Going in Style. And Shia,
LaBeouf.
no, Wiggum from Kong Skull Island. Also Robert De Niro.
was. Skull Island.
And then Robert De Niro.
Yes. So who is it?
And it's fucking directed by Todd Phillips, dude.
Is it? The
So
Hangover
weird.
guy?
The road trip guy, the old school guy,
He's the guy. He's the actual guy in the elevator, right? In Hangover,
Who's,
when they're
eating
going
their
up.
pussy, yeah.
Yeah, gotcha.
Brett Cullen.
was vulgar, I
Also
apologize.
replacing Alec Baldwin. Because he's playing Thomas Wayne.
Oh, cool.
He's the guy in old school who says, "I'm here for the."
Oh, for the gangbang.
For the gangbang,
Yeah. Okay.
He directs comedy very well.
He does.
Let's talk about Captain Marvel. Let's talk about Brie Larson
Captain
punching an
Marvel.
old lady. Because that's the caption to this whole thing. Captain Marvel trailer drops. Brie Larson punches old lady.
Yep.
Because she does. She punches an old lady in the trailer. Mm-hmm. And it's pretty weird. And it makes everyone go, did she just punch an old lady?
I'm so triggered right now.
I think it's fucking funny, man.
It's fantastic.
It's weird. It's like, I'm like, why did you put that in the movie? Like, why did you put that in the trailer? I'm sure it makes sense in the movie.
Yeah.
I think it might not even play well in the movie. just punching an old lady. I don't know, man.
No, it's going to. I can explain what's happening.
I know what's happening, but it's still punching an old lady. It just, like, can you put it into another body or something? Like, why does it have to be a fucking old lady on a bus? Because it's inconspicuous.
Yep.
But still, you just have Brie Larson punching an old lady.
Maybe
Maybe they'll play it like comedic.
that GIF exists.
Yes. Maybe they'll play it comedic. If they try to play it serious, it's not going to come off
No,
well. Which is why in the trailer, it's like, that was weird.
Yeah, that was a very serious trailer.
It was. And then she punches an old lady, and you're like, what the fuck?
You know what the probably the shocking / standout thing for me was? Nick Fury has 2 eyes.
Yep. And they made him look like he looked in Shaft.
Yep. Trailer was good though.
It's all right. Yeah.
I'm kind of pumped for it. I'm excited.
It's fucking 2019 years away. So we'll see.
March though, right?
I'm going to forget about it.
Isn't it like March or April?
Something like
2019?
It's too soon for a trailer. IMO. But it's all right.
that. Emo.
I like, in my opinion. God, go on Reddit once in a while.
I do
Jeez.
go on Reddit.
God, then you don't know what IMO means?
I do. I'm just trying to be.
In my own.
Um,
Any other news?
yeah.
The Emmys were on.
Were they?
That's news. Do you like the Emmys?
No.
No. You've ever watched them?
None of us have ever watched the Emmys this year.
Not this year. But some cool things won. Game of Thrones.
Yeah, but like,
won.
what does it mean to win an Emmy? Like, it doesn't mean anything.
It's a primetime Emmy.
It doesn't mean anything.
It's what TV actors go for.
It doesn't mean anything. They go for money.
Yeah, but they collect Emmys and
No, they
Oscars
don't.
and all that
You
stuff.
know how many fucking celebrities like give them away and shit? Like, nobody keeps it. No one gives a fuck. It's one of those things that when you're famous and you're a celebrity, you have to go to.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, all right. I guess we're going to the Emmys
Well,
tonight.
Game of Thrones won. Peter Dinklage won. Bill Hader won.
Henry Winkler won his first, which is surprising as long as
And he's been doing that shit a long ass
Yeah,
time.
I mean, but he did like Happy Days and then Waterboy and then this.
And Little Nicky,
Who was he in Little Nicky?
he was at the end. He was the sacrifice at the end
He was the sacrifice at the end
with the bees.
because he had to commit some evil.
They sick the bees on him.
Don't remember. Sorry, I don't remember Little Nicky.
It's a good movie though.
Adam Sandler's better movies.
That's still like, sorry,
I
don't
will
remember
eat
it.
your soul.
I think it had like a girl undressing at the beginning. I remember. Has like somebody peeping.
That was a guy.
On a
The guy is undressing.
No, it was a girl.
No, the girl's undressing. The guy's watching it.
Yeah.
But the guy is also undressing in the window too, right above her or something.
No, you're thinking of when Little Nicky's walking up the fire escape after
Yeah.
he meets the girl.
The
that he
butterflies.
Sees, then he sees the guy who's like dripping
Yeah.
candle wax on
Yeah.
himself.
The butterflies.
At the very beginning, because that's how they show hell for the first time.
Yeah, because then he gets tortured forever by a giant bird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thandie Newton won for Westworld, which is cool. The other big one was Rick and Morty won for Best Animated Series.
So Rick and Morty is a goddamn Emmy Award-winning show.
Yep.
It doesn't.
To be fair, so is South Park.
And that was the Emmys. What else you got?
I watched Sunny,
A new one?
episode 2
Oh, Dose.
of season 13. They did an escape room, and okay. Tell me if I'm crazy. Now I tweeted.
You're
Rob,
crazy.
I tweeted Rob McElhenney, and the writer of this episode. I tweeted them. No response yet. But I am pretty sure that this episode is a political allegory with North Korea and America. Okay, so they do an escape room.
Okay.
Frank and Charlie divvy off. They start having arguments about who should be in control, like who should be the one leading the group. Okay. Dee sets the whole thing up because she's done it before and she wants to prove to them that she's smart and she can solve puzzles. All right. So she gets it all started. And then they do it in Mac and Dennis's apartment. And they make it all like the people go in and they put stuff in and then they're supposed to escape. And okay, so First off, they push D into a room because D is like, hey, I think I should be the leader because, I have a lot of experience with this. And they're like, we can't let her be a leader. Like, we can't let a woman lead us. We as America had a chance, and we were like, no, we can't let that happen. And they have this very funny conversation about and Mac's like, I feel like we were pretty clear about not having a woman leader. Like, we all spoke up, and we don't. And so they push her into Dennis's room, okay, and then they start arguing about who is in charge, right? Mac thinks Dennis should be in charge because he's the smartest. Charlie thinks Frank should be in charge because he's the oldest. Okay. Frank doesn't like being trapped in the room because of when he was in this donkey brain school when he was a kid, and so Charlie gives him this big league chew.
I'm sorry. Donkey brain school?
He had to go to this like special school because he had donkey brains when he was a kid. It's an older episode.
Okay.
So he gives him this big league chew, these little strings of gum.
Yep.
And he starts chewing it, and that calms him down, all right? But he's like chewing like all crazy, right? And it drives Dennis crazy. So they're like, you need to go into this room, we'll stay in this room, and then we'll find whatever we need to find, okay? And they're like, fine, whatever. So they break up into two groups. This is where I think Dennis is Kim Jong-un and Frank is Trump. Okay. So Frank is chewing his gum. Okay, but they're all separated. And then Mac goes, I think we have a head start. And Dennis is like, oh, really? And he's like, yes, I found this heart-shaped lock thing that we need to find the key. And they're like, oh, great. Don't tell anybody, okay? Then Charlie's like, hey, Frank, I found this heart-shaped key. So they both find the thing.
Yep.
They both have the key to something. Meanwhile, D is in Dennis's room. In Dennis's room, it's all soundproof because he does this like sex game thing. Again, this is from a later episode, or an earlier episode where he like gets people from Craigslist and then they like push the clock and then the laptop turns on and he's like, hello, welcome to Dennis's game of sex and adventure. Here's the safe word. Here's blah, blah, blah. But it's like all soundproof and no one can hear her and no one can get out. AKA Dennis's room, Kim Jong-un, AKA North Korea. Okay? Just go with me here. Okay. Okay, so they're start smashing everything to start finding the key and the lock in the respective rooms. Eventually Dennis is like, Mac, can you stop chewing? It's driving me crazy. And he's like, I'm not chewing anything. And he's like, oh, it must be Frank. He's chewing his gum really loud to piss me off. And he goes into this like the head cow is always grazing, so he has to have something in his mouth. So he's the head cow. So you need to go in there and get me some gum so that I can assert my dominance. Okay. They go in there, they get the gum or whatever, and he's like, no, don't give him any gum. This is how I assert my dominance. The head cow's always grazing. Frank won't give him any gum. And so Mac's like, well, what if I show you what we have? We have something, and I think you'll want to see. And they're like, okay, show it to me. And he's like, we have a heart-shaped lock. And they're like, I think we have to have a summit. So then they go to a summit, okay? And they're sitting around the table, and they're like, okay, well, we have the key. And they're like, they're still arguing about who's in charge. They don't get anywhere. They eventually get let out of the room and all this other stuff. And then it's all big failure. But they think they won. They think they were like, well, we got out of the room. And they're like, she's like, no, but I let you out of the room. And they're like, you just said we had to get out of the room before the time was up. And we got out of the room just because you let us out. And so they all think they're a winner. Dee gets like tragically injured because she like, I can't remember what happened, but she got really injured and they bring her a steak to eat, and they take the group picture to put on the website, and it's a big happy ending or whatever, right? But I'm pretty sure, based on my assessment, that it is a political allegory, and I'm waiting for Rob McElhenney to confirm.
I now have another question about this show, because there's a couple episodes that, especially with this talking about Dennis's sex game, is Dennis a rapist?
I'm going to quote the show by answering this.
The implication?
It's the implication.
Because he talks about the Dennis
method. He will
method.
never openly admit it.
Okay.
It's the implication.
Because like I remember watching the episode of the Dennis Method, which makes him sound like a douchebag, but not bad. Then
It's
I remember.
amazing.
Then there's the implication episode.
The boat.
No,
yeah.
we're on a boat. She
has to do it because of the implication.
No, that sounds like you're going to sexually assault her. And now he has a sex game with a soundproof room.
Yeah.
With a safe.
It's like a Saw type game where he like comes up and he's like, "You have now put in your okay to proceed with the game, and when you touch the clock, I took a fingerprint, which is your e-signature of consent for this, and." You know, we've discussed the safe word. If you need to say the safe word, you can, but I don't think you will because of your Craigslist profile. And then blah, 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 blah. And then, you know, everything gets all locked down. And then the bed starts vibrating and stuff. So, yeah, I don't know. It may be that he's a murderer and a rapist. He might actually kill these people, too, because in the back of his Land Rover, he has a bunch of duct tape and zip ties and stuff.
Oh, my God.
So... Dennis, puts up with the other 3 or 4 people just to have an alibi?
Maybe. I don't know.
Because he hasn't killed D, Mac, Frank.
Yeah, I think he legitimately likes them and likes getting in, into
shenanigans
and stuff. And like I said, Mac is full gay now. He's totally out. And so in his room, he has a bike that you ride with a rolling pin coming out of the seat. That's all like lubed up and stuff.
Oh my God. Wow.
But the scene about not having a female leader is so like on the nose. It's very, very funny. And it's funny that like people get mad at the Marvel stuff and then this scene comes out and no one says a word about it. And it's like
it's because
you guys just pick and choose what you want.
Well,
to
it's Marvel's supposed to be more family friendly versus
it's people saying people.
It's a South Park thing again.
Yeah.
South Park never gets in trouble because they make fun of everything.
Yeah.
That starts
I just
next
really
week.
like that show.
Does that start this week or next week?
I'm not sure.
No idea.
I like it.
I'm going to have to watch it.
I might just watch that episode.
I watched it again to prepare for the show tonight, and that's when it all clicked for me. And I was like, And Dennis's hair is kind of like up and stuff.
Oh,
and
God.
I was like, he kind of looks like, are they trying to make him look like it? And then Frank is Trump because, like, duh.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Belligerent and, yeah.
I don't know.
So South Park does premiere on the 26th.
Cool.
And South Park themselves has started their own hashtag, Cancel South Park.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure they're just so tired of making it.
But it makes so much money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why they won't let them stop making it.
Okay, why did Cancel South Park...
While you look
What did
that
they
up,
sign, a
I'm going to
20-year
read.
deal?
Probably. So, Matt Hinton commented, and he has 2 comments that are very poignant and very open for discussion. So, he is sticking up for you on your producer feels and what I said to you last week about producers. Wes, you need to listen to this too, because this is an open conversation. He says, producers make calls all the time when it comes to overall vision, Aaron. It's Kathy Kennedy's fault we got Space Mary Poppins, Leia in Last Jedi, and it's John Peters' fault we got a giant fucking spider in Wild Wild West.
Yeah.
Unless director gets final cut these days, you get dog shit when it comes to creative vision in a director's chair. Quit talking schlock, sir.
Oh.
To this, now, I appreciate this comment more than anything. I absolutely love being challenged. And I will say that the John Peters thing is true. Okay, so the Kathleen Kennedy stuff is true as well. But you have to know who John Peters is. You have to know the industry. John Peters is this like maniacal weirdo producer. He is like a producer that you know of and you hear of. And the first time I heard about him was at a Kevin Smith talk. And he was working with John Peters, Kevin was, on the new Superman movie before Superman Returns and before this new Superman.
Nick Cage one?
The what turned into the Nick Cage one
Yeah.
before he was part of it. Yes,
Okay.
around that era, and John Peters was the producer, and they kept having talks, and he kept having him say, or John Peters kept saying, I don't want Superman to have powers. I want him to be a normal guy, and I want him to fight a big giant spider at the end of the movie. And this is because he's like
What?
one of those producers who gets in there and he's on set every day. And the people that I said don't really exist. This is an example of one that does.
Yeah.
Of somebody who threw money at it and is like, okay, I'm coming to set every day and I have control because I have money. And so Kevin Smith is like, all right, well, I don't want to write the movie then.
Yeah.
So he drops out of the movie. The whole movie flops. It cancels. There's a documentary about it now.
Yeah.
Nick Cage was supposed to be Superman at one point. Blah, blah, blah. The next movie John Peters works on is Wild Wild West.
Oh, yeah.
And guess what? There's a giant fucking spider at the end. He's a fucking weirdo, okay? So yes, that is 100% true. I'm not saying that producers... What I was trying to say to you last week is that as a whole, when you see a big name as a producer credit, don't get so excited about it because it doesn't really mean anything. But he is making great points saying that there are producers that do make huge impacts.
Now, wouldn't you think that J.J. Abrams would be one of those producers?
No,
to
because
actually have a say in it?
Because J.J. Abrams is busy.
Mm-hmm.
He's a director. He's a writer. John Peters is just a producer.
Oh.
He only produces.
I just think it's super misleading how when we saw the preview for Overlord,
That's what they're trying to do.
yeah, and it's like you see Bad Robot.
Yeah.
Then it's like from producer J.J. Abrams.
Right.
And everything, and it gets you all excited, and then it's like...
That's exactly the point. This is something that I learned in my teens when I was watching movies. Is like Hostel, right? Remember that movie Hostel?
Yeah,
It goes from producer Quentin Tarantino, and I'm like, fuck yeah, Quentin Tarantino. And then I go see Hostel. I'm like, this isn't
This
a
isn't
fucking
a Tarantino,
Tarantino movie.
yeah.
And it's because he threw money at it because Eli Roth and him are friends. Okay, it doesn't mean anything. When you have a big name that's a producer that's also a this and a that and a that, okay. So now the first point he made was Kathleen Kennedy. And to that, I say, Matt, Kathleen Kennedy is not just a producer. She's the head of Disney Star Wars.
Yeah.
She has last say. She can do whatever the fuck she wants. She is not just a producer who threw money at it. So that's a different scenario.
She also took a lot of shit for Last Jedi
Right.
with fucking Rian Johnson.
Sure. So great points. I appreciate being challenged on that, and I agree with you that creative vision in a director's chair is so far and few between nowadays. But your two examples, I think, are I think the amount of producers that there are that fuck with movies are the same amount of directors that get great quality movies of their final vision. And I think that's mostly in from like studio producers and stuff like that say like, okay, we're gonna cut the film this way, we're gonna do the film this way, blah blah blah. So, it's a very very good comment, and I think that there's multiple sides to the producer problem.
Yeah.
Like, but that same thing, for a while, didn't Spielberg produce a lot of stuff?
Right.
And everyone's like, oh, Spielberg's doing this.
Dude, even when he directs movies, he's not there. Like, the last movie he directed was Ready Player One, and there was like a week of actual filming. Everything else is just in a computer studio.
Yep.
Okay. His second comment is, to Wes's point regarding the industry making us aware for years of Hollywood's predilection towards an uncouth culture, there's a great episode of Cheers titled Now Pitching Sam Malone, in which Diane's character must help Sam navigate his feelings of self-worth versus another 50 minutes of fame, sacrificed through sexual favor. Very topical in today's political climate, I feel. And also just want to know how all Derailed panel feels about comedians taking public political stances in an era that seems so politically and socially divided. More to the point, what would Burt Reynolds do? Yeah.
Well, I have and always will believe that comedians, that's their only platform. When you're on stage and you can make fun of everything, you can laugh at everything, you can make fun of yourself, you can make fun of other people, everyone knows it's a joke. There's no reason that it should be taken out of context except for the fact that it is a fucking joke. You are there to watch a comedy show. It is a joke. Whatever comes out of your fucking mouth while you're on stage is a joke.
Right.
And
I think, hold on. I think what he's saying is that, yes, that's true, but he's saying taking public political stances. So I think what he's saying is comedians that are tweeting out their actual thoughts on stuff. People whose job it is to be funny,
Right.
but they're taking public political stances, not as a joke.
right. So that in itself is a contradiction because you can't say one thing on stage as a joke and then tweet out something different. That doesn't make any sense. If
Well,
you
it
keep,
does because the first one's a joke. That's what you were just saying.
yeah, but why would you do that? That's just career suicide.
That's more of Matt's point. Like,
Right. That's what
he's
why
saying.
is that career?
So then I
suicide?
guess I would.
Yeah.
That's tough.
The answer, the question is more complicated.
Yeah.
So like, see, the problem with that is so to James's point about the whole comedy stuff. That's why some comedians have left comedy is because they can't say their jokes on stage.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Chappelle.
if we're
Chappelle's
gonna,
probably the best example of that, right?
Exactly.
He left. It's like I can't make my joke.
Seinfeld feels that way. I've been watching a lot of Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan feels that way. Hannibal Buress. Like, you can't go to a college now and do comedy. Like, the college circuit is so broken now, and it used to be one of the biggest comedian circuits. You can't because it's trigger warning, blah, blah, blah. You can't say anything. You can't say this. You can't say that. But yeah, so if we're talking about, like, we're going to look at it one way, is like a comedian on stage doing his bit, doing his set, or her set. They can say whatever the fuck they want. They can do whatever the fuck, they can have any political view that they want to. The same way that if they're in the Twitterverse, they're still people. They still have opinions.
Yeah.
They're sometimes stupid and wrong. Like
Roseanne.
last year, Roseanne, or last week it was
Norm Macdonald?
Norm
Yeah.
Macdonald. You know, sometimes they're stupid, but like at the end of the day, like, yes, their job is to be funny and they're being comedians and they go on stage every day, but like they still have their own virtues and things to tweet about that may be offensive and they may be, you know, stupid to some people.
And I can agree with that. With the like I'm like
They're still people.
yeah, they're still people. They're going to make mistakes. Yes, they might tweet out something stupid on
Or
Twitter.
it's not even a mistake. They
Sorry.
might just believe something that you don't.
True. Like comedian might make a bad joke about some taboo subject, rape, abortion. Really,
The entirety of Louis C.K.'s career is making stupid jokes about abortion and, you know, terrible jokes.
but he says that as a joke. People laugh, and you go to that show expecting, oh, this is going to be a joke.
yes.
Versus he takes to Twitter where you can't really read sarcasm either. You have to read it as black and white and says, I don't know when, maybe pro abortion. Let's just randomly go there. So it's like, cool, you're taking a stance for
Or
abortion.
like, I totally support Nazis. Like,
But
what?
you see, you watch his show, he might have a joke related to that.
Right.
But you read it on this.
Yeah.
If it is his political stance too, that one notwithstanding, like some bad political. Okay, I don't have to listen to you on Twitter. I don't like your true beliefs, but I want to see you make me laugh, so I want to watch your comedy.
And there's two sides to that too. Like you don't have to listen to him on Twitter, but you also don't have to listen to him on TV or the radio or anything, right? Like we have a choice in this country to just not listen to those things that we don't want to. So, but
I think there is a point where you can go too far, and most recently is probably Roseanne.
sure.
What she said is too far from
Yeah.
what she did, especially being on a Disney network, right?
I think it's just a weird juxtaposition that their job is so humorous, and then when they do things that are seriously wrong, it's just like, oh, what the fuck? Like, you were supposed to be there to make me laugh. Like, this is weird. And I think it just makes us feel uncomfortable.
It does.
But great fucking comments, Matt Hinton. Keep them coming. That's all I have.
Faux show. Well, we do have a movie to review. What did we see?
You tell me. I haven't told you my thoughts on it yet.
Yeah, and I'm going to start because I fucking hate this movie.
Okay.
We saw The Predator.
The new Predator.
The new Predator.
So is this okay? First question.
It's not a reboot.
It's not a reboot.
It's a continuation. It's an evolution of The Predator.
In film speak, it is called a soft reboot.
So
They talk about previous Predators coming to Earth and everything.
So the Arnold one and the Danny Glover one.
Yep.
Okay.
They talk about all that stuff, and they talk about how this new one has evolved and everything. And the premise of this is that some predator escapes from being the prey of a larger predator, and then crash lands on Earth and then hides this shit, and this other guy finds it, and then the big one comes and blah blah blah.
I saw a trailer where a little kid activates something and this ship flies down.
Yeah. So without saying anything about the movie, I fucking hated it. The entire time I was thinking, I want this to be over. I want this to be over. God, my back hurts. I want this to be over.
Okay.
That's the entire movie. I hated Olivia Munn is nice to look at. I hated her in the movie.
He did laugh at a lot of jokes because I heard him.
I laughed at a few jokes. That's fine. Doesn't mean I like the movie. The movie itself was a shit show. No one acted good in the movie. It was just stupid. The concept, it was dumb. Everything was dumb. I just didn't enjoy anything at all.
Okay. So before
the mostly the scenes that I laughed at was like there's a group of veterans that are like all discharged because of like different mental issues and stuff. So Keegan-Michael Key's in it. He's got a couple of good jokes.
Okay.
Thomas Jane's in it, the old Punisher.
Yep.
He's fucking got Tourette's and he's like all crazy and he blurts out a few funny things.
They don't understand how Tourette's works.
Yeah.
It's how everyone thinks Tourette's works.
Yeah.
Where like you're just like,
fuck yeah, fuck shit, fuck shit.
that's absolutely not Tourette's. Like that's an extreme case of Tourette's, but like that's not how it works. Like there's a show on A&E about people that flip things or trade up.
Yep.
And one of them has Tourette's. And what happens is someone will say something like groovy, and then it'll get stuck in his head, and he'll go like groove, 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 and then he'll come back.
Okay.
Like that's how it works. It's not this like something about Mary or like these old
Deuce Bigelow.
The South Park.
Bigelow, yeah, where it's like, fuck, I just cuss what I want, and it's like, oh, I have involuntary.
Eat your pussy.
It doesn't. That's not how it works.
Okay.
It's so stupid.
So before I hear what you say, I want to hear your opinions on something. So it's a Predator film.
Yes.
So when I go into a Predator film, I expect a couple of things.
This.
I do expect the most manly handshake ever, yes.
Yeah.
But no, did the Predators look good and menacing?
Me or him?
Him. I want his opinions
I
first.
think okay, so I'm gonna say a few things about that.
Okay.
Evolved Predator looked like a fucking moron.
And this is the
was
bigger,
not
badder
scary.
one. Okay.
Yeah, was not scary. Was just 11 feet tall.
Okay, so big Predator.
Yeah. The original Predator, like the Predator that crash landed, gave me more of a vintage Predator feel. You got the dreads. It was the same face and makeup and prosthetics and all that stuff. Their suits were cool. A couple of the suit things that they can do were cool.
Do they have cool weapons and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, it's the same. It's the
Shoulder
same weapons.
cannon,
Shoulder
wrist
cannon,
blades,
invisibility.
javelin. All right. Was it gory?
No,
Okay.
wasn't gory.
Ah,
There's
see,
one scene.
That's
The vintage scene where they rip the fucking spine out.
That's a letdown for me.
Yeah, there's only that one scene. They had dogs with dreads.
So they introduced their hunting dogs.
With dreads.
Okay.
And it was awful.
All right. And you've already said that no standout acting at all.
Zero.
Okay.
Except for the comedy from the guys. Which is just Keegan and Thomas Jane are the only ones that I thought were funny.
Okay.
I didn't like the black dude who's like the leader of the little group. I didn't like the little fucking token Mexican guy that they had in there, Christian guy. He was like this religious dude. He didn't do shit for me. And then who's the other one? 1, 2, 3. Oh, and then Alfie Allen was in it. He plays Greyjoy, Theon Greyjoy in Game of Thrones.
Okay.
He was in it, not that much.
Like a country bumpkin, but he didn't know how to do a country
Yeah.
accent, so he was still English.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
It was weird.
wrong casting there.
Yeah.
All right. So
Didn't really have a lot of lines either.
were there good action scenes?
Uh,
Fights with the alien or predators, fights with a predator fighting them.
the end scene would have been good, except for there's a scene. So Keegan-Michael Key and Thomas Jane are actually friends, even though they fake fight with each other. So there's a scene where at the end they both die, but they die like it looks like a religious scene. Like Thomas Jane gets thrown up against a tree and gets impaled by a branch, and he's like this. and then Keegan gets his fucking intestines ripped out, and so he's on the floor. So the way they frame it is like he's looking up like this, and they're both like reaching, you know, like looks like some biblical scene, and they both have a gun and they shoot each other at the same time. Killed the whole end battle for me.
Okay.
I hated it.
Did they sequel bait it too?
Yes.
Good.
100%.
Good. So we're guaranteed to get another piece of shit. It sounds
Yes.
Like. All right.
Now, can I tell you the ending?
Yeah, go ahead. I had no
So
desire.
obviously they beat 11-foot predator guy.
Yep.
The whole point of the other predator escaping to Earth was to warn the humans that the other guys were going to come and basically take over Earth. Right? The big guys.
Okay.
So they bring this device, which they poorly name it. Was it like the anti-predator or the predator killer? Something like that.
Predator
It was
killer.
predator killer. Stupid fucking name. So it's this big pod, right? And it's smoking and everything, and they get it to open. And then the whole time I'm thinking, Arnold Schwarzenegger's going to pop out of the fucking pod.
Uh-huh.
That would have been so funny for me. I would have been okay with the ending. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't that. It was some little piece of tech that warped itself onto a scientist, took over his body, turned him into a super predator with like mega shoulder cannons that looked like spider arms and stuff. And then it folded all back into the piece of tech and jumped off of him again. And the end.
It sounds terrible. You bring up Arnold Schwarzenegger. I did read that he turned down a role in The Predator to do Terminator 6.
Okay. I was also reading that the person who either wrote or directed this movie was the comms guy from Predator 1. He was the communications guy, which I can't remember his name. So a lot of people who were fans of the first one had high hopes for this one. And then it was just like the studio told him everything that he could do, and he just listened, and it was a shit movie.
Okay. So, your opinion, hot garbage. Better than Pink Cadillac?
Yes.
Okay.
I could still watch it over Pink Cadillac.
Aaron, how was The Predator for you?
So it went in. For one, I have almost completely forgot about this movie already.
That's actually even worse than a movie that's that bad.
Yeah.
It's forgettable.
I just totally forgot this movie. It went in waves for me, and the high points were not because it was good, it was because it was bad. So at a certain point, you have to stop watching it as like, okay, this is going to be a cool Predator movie, and you have to think like, maybe they were trying to do something like cult filmish, where it's like so crazy and over the top and stupid that you end up rewatching it and you're like, oh, that's so silly, and you're showing it to people and you're like, yeah, I know it's dumb, that's why it's awesome. So then I start watching it with those kind of glasses, and like it doesn't work in either way. They don't go over the top enough to be like, yeah, I'm going to fucking buy this and I'm going to become a follower of the new Predator series because it's just so silly and stupid, it's funny. And then it's not a serious enough movie to think like, oh, this is a great effects movie, this is a great story, this has some great, at least one good actor.
It feels my nostalgia for Predator.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything right. It just kind of falls flat. And there is some CGI when the Predator gets killed its blood comes out, and it's so bad. It's like made for TV movie.
Oof.
It's like the worst CGI I've seen in a long time. I imagine it's what you see when you see Justice League or something.
Yep.
Like that, it's like that for me. I was just like, wow, that was really bad blood, like alien blood stuff. It's got the kid from Room, who's got fucking chops for a little kid, and it's his fucking studio movie to make a bunch of money before he can, his parents probably pick all his roles and whatever.
Got it.
But it's clearly the studio movie from this kid who now has a little bit of a career to just make a bunch of money, because he doesn't do anything in the movie. He doesn't really, I don't know.
Is he
it's
a little
a very
kid
weird movie.
who messes with the alien thing in the trailer that makes the ship?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like some sort of like autistic savant with technology kind of thing. And it just doesn't, it's like it could have gone over the top and been like, okay, I'm in, I can go along with this.
We could have got the manly handshake. We could have got...
Yeah, or like Schwarzenegger comes out at the end. Like they just go over the top and it's just crazy and wacky, and they could have done that and been great for like bad reasons. Or it could have been like, we're going to take this really seriously. We're going to flesh this out. We're going to make this a universe. We're going to build around it. But it's like no one really cared. It's like everyone just kind of showed up to set.
This was literally to pump out a movie to make a couple million bucks.
And it feels like it.
The kid's father was the main character. And who also is going to be the Predator killer. Because he's like, that's my suit.
It's funny, too, because, like, we named it the Predator, right? Like, it doesn't
No, there's
call
an
itself
actual
the
race
Predator.
of the alien.
Well, that's not what he's...
But we've called it the Predator.
Right.
Yes.
They don't call themselves Predators.
Yep.
No.
Right?
Correct.
So we've named this alien thing that we've encountered multiple times. And then we get this thing. The kid is now like a scientist who works for the CIA.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the end scene when they uncover like the Predator killer. Mm-hmm. And so they start opening it, and it's like all the computer screens are going crazy, and they're like, "Oh my god, what's happening?" And the little kid's like, "It has a message." And they're like, "What does it say?" And they're like, "I think it says the Predator killer." And it's like, wait, this is an alien device that doesn't know that we refer to it as the Predator, and it called its own device the Predator killer? Like, that makes no fucking sense.
And they even point that out in the movie.
Yeah, she's even like, why do you guys call it a predator? It's more of like a hunter.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so we've clearly set up this predator name. It's not like a name that we heard them say, and now we're calling them predators. And then, but this device they get at that they've given us is called the Predator Killer, translated by the little boy through the computer. So it's from their language.
Yeah.
It's like, they don't even know we call them the Predator.
And like the
it doesn't
black...
make any sense.
The black military guy that's in it, that's a kind of evil guy who captures the one Predator that crash landed. Like, he even says flat out, he's like, well, the Predator just sounded better. So he went with that.
Yeah. It's a weird, it's just, there's no
See, like I
point
said, that's
talking about it.
almost worse for a movie than being really bad. Is just being
Sometimes
for
real bad movies you can watch again.
Super Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah.
I'll never not like that movie, although how bad
If
it
I'm
is.
flicking through the channels, comfortable on my couch, and that movie's on, I'm not going to stop and watch it.
There's nothing redeeming about it at all. It's so just.
It's why I didn't watch Alien versus Predator. I waited years to watch that, and it was just terrible. I hated it. I was such a fan of the original Predator. The Danny Glover one was meh for me. I just really only liked the original. And that was it. So I went into it with super low expectations, Wes, and it was still fucking horrible.
For me, the comedy was so out of place and so stupid, and the what's his name from Key and Peele or whatever, like, he has so many better things he could be doing, you know, and like he decides to do this just to be the comedic relief, and none of the jokes are good. It's just weird, man. It's very weird. I just did not like it at all. But that's all I have to say about it. We got a fucking on-the-air comment from Derek White because he doesn't realize when we're filming.
And this is for Bloodshot?
No, it's for Piece of Schmidt, but we've already fucking recorded that,
Yeah.
so you're going to get your comment read early on the show that's posted
Before that.
before that. He said he was nervous for us to try bulk, but now he wants some.
Go to your local Ross and it might be there.
Yeah.
We went to Ross 2 days ago, and we couldn't find any.
It was at the front where all the food is.
Yeah, that's where we were.
Yeah.
We went to the one not in Tukwila, in Renton.
Oh, mine was the one in Kent.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
a
okay.
Renton exclusive.
Kent exclusive.
Kent exclusive. So now we did not watch the movie.
Striking Distance. I intended to watch it the night before last, and we got so balls deep in Destiny.
I feel like it's Destiny's fault.
Yeah.
Mine is I had family in town.
Yeah. So we're going to watch it this week, but we're also not going to keep anyone behind. We're going to watch another movie as well.
Double feature.
We're going to
Yeah.
watch 2 movies. It's going to be a grindhouse of flashback.
We've got
it's right
some.
there, bro.
The what?
Helmet's right there.
Oh, it's got the old shoe in it. All right. Wes here, the helmet maintainer. We do have some really good ones. So ones that I've never heard of before, and some really, really good ones. So 1979 we'll start. We have When a Stranger Calls, which I feel like I've heard of that movie before. Like, it was a pretty good thriller.
There was a remake of it in the 2000s.
Oh, was there? We have this is also a thriller, suspense thriller called Scum, 1979. A Man, a Woman, and a Bank. 1979. I did check to see if it was a real movie.
Okay.
It made like $2 million. And then Seven. Not the Seven that we know of. This is like... I don't know what this one's about at all.
Not the What's in the Box
Yeah,
7?
maybe. Then we have, moving on to 1987, we have Bestseller. These are a little lacking, except for one. China Girl. 1987's masterpiece, The Princess Bride.
Fantastic.
And
film.
something called The Big Town. 1993 definitely wins this one again.
Okay.
With movie selection. 1989, Welcome Home. And Johnny Handsome, also from 1989.
I am ready to look up the winner.
1993 has some pretty awesome ones. We've got Dazed and Confused.
Oh my god.
Classic.
Please let it be that one.
We've got A Bronx Tale. Also a fabulous movie.
Jackie.
No, Bronx Tale is Robert De Niro.
Oh, okay.
It's the one where the kids get molested in the home, and then they grow up and they come back and they like kill all the cops that molested them in jail or whatever. The Good Son, 1993, also a horror.
Macaulay Culkin, Elijah Wood.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh my god, that movie freaked me the fuck out when I was a kid. He fucking pushes him off the cliff, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, dude, I fucking hate that movie.
93,
Whoa,
The
I haven't thought about
Program.
Wow, that was like a memory flood right there. Holy shit.
And then the sequel to the Julian Sands, or no, is it Julian Sands? Maybe it's what's his name? Your dog has no tail. Christopher Walken. I think he's in the Warlock ones.
Okay.
That's all I can remember is Jay Moore being Christopher Walken going, your dog has no tail. How could your dog have no tail? And then, so here you go. Warlock Armageddon. That's the last one.
God.
That was the one.
Is that an old one?
Yep.
Okay.
Before you pick, let me do the top 10 box office for the week of September.
Well, I'll start mixing then.
What is today? What is
September 18th is today.
So the week of September 16th. No. Yes. 16th. Number one, The Predator grossed $27 million so far.
It's because people don't know how bad it is.
Fair.
The Nun is number two with $86 million so far. A movie called A Simple Favor is number three at $17 million.
That's the new Anna Kendrick film.
Yeah, a lot of my
Really?
friends on Facebook are saying this movie's real good.
Number four, a movie that I want to see, White Boy Rick.
I wanna see
has
that
made
too.
$9.7 million.
Fuck yeah. That's that true
McConaughey.
story one?
McConaughey
okay.
with the boy. Crazy Rich Asians is still on there with number 5. Peppermint is still on there. Dude, Crazy Rich Asians, $150 million.
Wow.
And that's just a rom-com.
Yeah.
What was the budget on that thing? Do you have any idea?
Yeah, it's...
Like 10 million?
It's not high at all.
All right.
30 million, dude.
So we're
Peppermint has made $25 million at number 6. Searching is still on there with $20 million
I
so
wanna see
far.
that.
The Meg is still on there, has made $137
Oh
million.
my God.
Unbroken Path to Redemption is number 9. I don't know what this is, but it's made $2.5 million. And then Mission Impossible Fallout is number 10, still on the list, has made $216 million.
Oh my fucking God. But the budget for that is probably a lot higher.
Let me check. It is
Probably like 100 million.
I don't know if it's that high.
That's probably Tom Cruise.
178 million.
See?
At least a third of
Because
that.
it's all massive fucking explosions and ruining shit.
And a third of that's probably Tom Cruise. Plus his injury
Yep.
cost a lot of money.
All right, and I'm looking up the winner here.
Yep.
But I won't have to because it's going to be Dazed and Confused.
Don't fuck it up, Wes.
Dazed
The
and
Good Son.
Confused,
The
baby,
Good
Dazed
Son.
and
The Good Son.
Confused,
The Good
Dazed
Son.
and Confused, baby,
The
Dazed
Good
and
Son.
Confused,
The
Dazed
Good
and
Son.
Confused, baby, Dazed and Confused.
Scum.
Oh! An interesting one.
1979.
Yep, it says thriller suspense. I didn't read anything else about it.
All right.
What do we got?
Powerful, uncompromising drama about the struggle for survival in the nightmare world of brutal Borstal. This is the feature film version of the original 1977 Play for Today drama, which was banned by the BBC for 14 years.
Wow.
2 boys struggle to survive Britain's notorious Borstal reformery. It has Ray Winstone is the only person I know in this. That's, I don't know. It's going to be weird.
Interesting.
And
Does it
we're-
say where to watch it?
No. It's Nowhere.
YouTube.
That's it? I'm sure it's on Amazon.
No, I'm saying it's free on YouTube if this is the right movie.
Oh, is it really?
And then we're also going to watch Striking Distance.
Damn it!
Yeah,
That would have been a great excuse to make Becca watch Dazed and Confused.
we
Oh,
could-
she hasn't?
We could always just not find this and do Days
Scum
and
is also an open world survival game on Steam.
Yeah.
It just came out. I mean, I could put it back and say I lost it. We didn't get Scum.
No, we
There's
gotta watch
video
Scum.
proof.
So I can't. Oh, maybe I'm reading it wrong.
No, we gotta watch Scum.
If
Plus, maybe I'll just watch it anyways.
So Scum actually got a 88% on Rotten Tomatoes. If that helps
There's
you.
a lot of movies that have 88% that are terrible. Maybe it's good though. I'm not saying it's bad. It's from 1979, so we're
Yeah.
gonna have
it's
to.
gonna be a British film.
We're gonna have to
British.
put on some old glasses for this one. Try to watch it like.
Did you see these actors?
Yeah, they all look like they're from Russia.
P.H. Moriarty is the only one the guy you might know. He was in a
No,
couple
I know
of
the first one.
Ray Winstone.
Yeah, I know Ray
Yeah.
Winstone.
Isn't he in Game of Thrones?
Ray Winstone?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. He's in The Departed. I know that.
John Rogan's in it. Joe's dad, maybe.
No.
All right, well, that's going to do it, guys. I don't know if you've watched Striking Distance. You want to leave some comments in there ahead of the time? Go ahead and do that. But we're going to watch it this week as well as Scum. So go ahead, and that's your homework for us. Thanks for joining us. If you guys like what you see, head on over to Twitter and YouTube. Like and subscribe. Help support the show on patreon.com/derailed. Make some comments. We'll read them on the show. Until next time.
Make some comments.
Yeah, make some. Make them.
What are you doing over there? Oh, making some comments.
Good night, guys.